Let's just start with some of the just unambiguously bad things that happened. Just because we got to keep roughly on top of it. We're not going to be doing a deep dive into these, but just letting you guys know. So, folks, there is just so much happening right now, and we'll get to some of the more hopeful bits later. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it with you guys. For the first time in American history, a state has voted to remove civil rights protections from a group that previously had civil rights protections. And it's really sad. Iowa's governor signed the legislation, and transgender people can now legally be discriminated against in the state of Iowa when it comes to housing, work, etc. So, yeah, not great. Quite bad, in fact. And that doesn't even sound pretend legal. Well, they made it legal by changing the law, you see. And because the federal government isn't going to actually support trans people in any way, that means it's consistent across state and federal law. So yeah, this sucks. This sucks. Housing, surely that will go to the state Supreme Court. I mean, I'm sure it will, but I'm not entirely sure that like the state Supreme Court of Iowa is going to uphold transgender protections. We'll see. You know, like I don't really expect that of Iowa. Um yeah, it's really sad. And one of the sadder parts, pull this up. Yeah, Democrats have struggled to push back. In a floor speech this week, State Representative Amy Wichtendahl, a Democrat who is transgender, told her colleagues, "I transitioned to save my life," urging them to vote down the change to the state's civil rights code. This bill revokes protections to our jobs, our homes, and our ability to access credit, Ms. Wichtendahl said. In other words, it deprives us of our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And they passed it, and the governor signed it into law. So that's where we're at. This link has her speech in part. It's a good speech, for sure. Yeah, I'll throw that up.
The stereotypes and the fear leveled at the trans community.
The debate over civil rights protections in the Iowa House was personal for Representative Amy Wichtendahl, who is transgender.
And I transitioned because I wanted to be a parent to my son and to see him grow up.
Wichtendahl says she experienced discrimination when her landlord evicted her after she transitioned. That was before the legislature approved civil rights protections for transgender Iowans, protections now being taken away.
This bill revokes protections to our jobs, our homes, and our ability to access credit. In other words, it deprives us of our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Nearly every Democrat who spoke on the floor,
"Our liberties we prize and our rights we will maintain,"
mentioned the state's motto in their speeches.
Our liberties we prize and our rights we will maintain. Does that also apply to women?
State Representative Steve Holt says this legislation is needed to ensure laws passed by Republicans, like a ban on transgender girls playing in women's sports, can't be overturned.
Current Iowa code with gender identity as protected class does not accomplish this, and it stands in the way of Iowans trying to implement common sense policies and exercise their rights.
Holt says transgender Iowans will still have protections from discrimination, and this bill is needed to make women's spaces safer.
They will not be able to use public restrooms, dressing rooms, and showers designated for the opposite sex.
Only Republicans voted for this bill, though in the House, 5 of them crossed over and joined all of the Democrats in voting against it. At the Iowa State Capitol, I'm Connor Hendricks reporting.
Embarrassing as shit. Whose rights? Yeah. Hello, Amber Brains. It's really bad today, guys. Like that feels like a huge loss. It's kind of kind of hits personally for me because I live relatively close to Iowa. You know, like it's not that far away from where I live. And yeah, it's not much we can do about it now. We will keep fighting it. We'll keep fighting it in the courts, and we'll seek to flip Iowa and recodify those protections. But it is a defeat for now in a way that feels really hard. Super Jet Guy, yeah, yes, I know that. That's why we would have to reflip the state and get them recodified. Additionally, folks, and this just can't be good on any level, Donald Trump is apparently getting back all of the stuff that got taken from him during his during the documents investigation. So like all all of the classified documents that he wasn't supposed to have are being returned to him because he's just a spiteful little git. Like he's just full of spite. Like 99% of what he is doing, what he's personally doing is just trying to give middle fingers to people he doesn't like Jack Smith, you know? He says the Department of Justice has returned the boxes that deranged Jack Smith made such a big deal about. They are being brought down to Florida and will someday be part of the Trump Presidential Library, folks. Justice finally won out. I did absolutely nothing wrong. This was merely an attack on a political opponent that, obviously, did not work out well. Justice in our country will now be restored. And, yeah, he feels like he's so exonerated that he wants those documents all put into a publicly accessible library bearing his name. Like, god damn, is everything stupid right now. Like that, and that's just like one thing. Like that's just one thing that doesn't even matter at the moment because holy moly, we've got so many other things going on. Yeah, I talked about Andrew Tate. Like the U.S. State Department apparently pressured Romania into releasing the Tate brothers. You know, like because shame, they have no shame. They're incapable of it. You know, they've run for like 2 to 4 years off of Democrats want to do child sex trafficking. They're bringing child sex traffickers here. They're allying themselves with groomers. Panic, panic, panic. And then like the second they get in power, they pressure a foreign government to release known sex traffickers and guys who are being held on charges of rape, including someone of under the age of consent. I mean, like, not that consent was even considered there, but fuck, you're trying to protect children. You brought the child sex traffickers here. What are you doing? God, it's so dumb. And then like this is just even another small story that was running today, but Voice of America journalists face investigations for Trump comments. Now, you guys will never find me being a huge supporter of Voice of America. But that being said, the reason they're getting harassed is because they made comments critical of Donald Trump. That's literally what our First Amendment is for. And so they're being attacked and investigated by the State Department. And it's nuts. Yeah, let me see if I can find the exact quote here. Okay. On Friday, the Agency for Global Media informed one of Voice of America's highest-profile journalists, Stephen Herman, that he was being placed on an extended excused absence pending a human resources investigation, according to a copy of the letter obtained by the New York Times. Mr. Herman confirmed receiving the letter, which said the investigation was into whether his social media activity has undermined Voice of America's audience's perceptions of the objectivity and or credibility of Voice of America and its news operations. Weeks earlier, Mr. Herman came under fire from the Trump administration when he cited a quote on social media from an anti-corruption watchdog group criticizing cutbacks at the United States Agency for International Development. Richard Grenell, Mr. Trump's envoy for special missions, wrote on X that Mr. Herman's comments were treasonous. So I'm no big ally of Voice of America, guys, but like they're literally going after journalists for being critical of the government. Like, I don't know, guys. I think these folks who keep talking about free speech must be full of shit, because you don't go after someone critical of you if you're in favor of free speech. God. Also, so it's Friday, right? So of course, Elon Musk has sent out his follow-up letter to everyone in the federal government. And yeah, of course. Of course. They what are they calling it? They're calling it "What Did You Do Last Week Part 2." And they're trying to spin it as just like a voluntary thing you can participate in. You know, just every week, tell them what you did
Hey, all shit is getting
voluntarily.
crazy, but don't lose hope. This is just the heel in wrestling title run, and the heel always loses in the end.
True. Story of the Bard, thank you for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. And yes, we will get to some hopium later, okay? So there is reason to like hold on to hope. We're just going through some miscellaneous bad things that I can't really talk about in a full segment because I'll go insane and die. So here we go. Basically, this entire letter that is being sent out is in the light of the facts from the past week that DOGE has no actual authority. According to the courts, according to what the Trump administration has testified in court, DOGE doesn't have any authority over what federal agencies do. And as such, well, first of all, Elon Musk doesn't run DOGE. DOGE apparently doesn't have any power over federal agencies to do anything. 3, DOGE cannot actually do anything to OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, and also OPM doesn't have the authority to fire other departments' employees. So, okay, so why is this stuff happening? Well, because they were trying to do a coup. They're trying to consolidate power, right? That's why they're doing it. They're consolidating power within the government, right? And they are somewhat successfully doing that. However, they are also still being deferential to the courts, which may indicate that they just do not have the critical mass of power to actually just openly defy the courts. Because I feel like if they did have that, they would do it. So we're kind of seeing like stuff around this. We don't know where the enforcement's going to land quite yet. Second, let me look up one thing here. They're also very dumb and not strategic. That's true. Yeah. Now, I guess what I was gonna say is just that yeah, Doge is run by a woman, smells like DEI. Yeah, we're in some trouble for sure. It's just that what's good is that we are getting all of this stuff on the record so that when push does come to shove, I think that the courts will have a solid case. And if that case is solid enough, I think we're going to have a much better resolution to are they going to listen to the courts than we might otherwise. It sucks. Now, we also need to talk about what is being cut here. ProPublica did some really great work at what is actually being lost when folks like Ted Cruz calls something woke and gets it defunded. Yeah. Senator Ted Cruz announced that he had uncovered $2 billion of science grants funded by former President Joe Biden's administration that prioritized radical political perspectives or neo-Marxist theories. His aides on a congressional committee assembled the list by searching the project descriptions for 699 key terms like women, diversify, segregation, and Hispanic culture. Because, these people are racist as fuck. Yeah, we found that Cruz's dragnet had swept up numerous examples of scientific projects funded by the National Science Foundation that simply acknowledged social inequalities or were completely unrelated to the social and economic themes cited by his committee. Among them, for example, was a $470,000 grant to study the evolution of mint plants and how they spread across continents. As best we can tell, the project ran into trouble with Republicans on the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation because two specific words used in its application to the NSF, diversify, referring to the biodiversity of plants, and female, where the application noted how the project would support young female scientists on the research team. It's fucking nuts. Other things cited: developing a device that would treat severe bleeding. It was clapped for containing the words victims, as in gunshot victims, and trauma, as in the trauma of being shot. Creating biosensors that detect infectious diseases. Who would want that? Why would anyone want that? An infectious disease scanner? Ah, geez. I don't know about that. Designing eye tracking technology for diagnosing and treating concussions appears to have gotten flagged for referring to traumatic brain injuries and the status, meaning the condition of patients. These people, like, guys, it's insane. ProPublica does amazing work. You guys should go donate to ProPublica, okay? Incredible work that they do over there. But it's so dumb. It's so dumb. And not only is it dumb, it's dangerous. You know, it actively hurts us. It actively is a step backwards from medical sciences and advancements that could, like, save lives. But no, those are woke, I guess. Saving lives, woke. It's woke to have cancer treatments that are effective, I guess. Thanks, Republicans, for alleviating us of the expense of researching how to prevent cancer deaths. God. Yeah, they use too many pronouns in their surgery classes, so, you know, we had to cut that. No more surgeons. Too woke. And we have to talk about this, chat. We have to talk about this because it's just bad. It's just bad. What does Ted Cruz get out of banning cancer research? He's not going to frame it as cutting cancer research. He's going to frame it as a wonderful opportunity to cut DEI programs. You understand that's what they do, right? They don't just go out and say, "Hey, everybody, we cut cancer research." No, they go out there and they say they found a waste, fraud, and abuse stemming from, like, DEI programs, and then they cut that because they want the cut to seem popular, and then they want to give it to the richest motherfuckers on the planet because they want that rich motherfucker money. Okay? Like, that's what they care about. They care about that transaction. Anything else subservient to that desire, you know? Oh, they absolutely can't keep this up forever, Cody Griffith. They can't. It's not possible. Our rage will outlast them. But also something to keep an eye on here. So one thing that different regulations need if you're a government employee or in charge of an agency, your policy changes need to go through public comment, meaning that the general public has an opportunity to weigh in and share their thoughts on different policy changes before that policy goes into effect. There is a specific period of time, I think it's like 90 days of comment. And RFK Jr. just wants to get rid of any public comment on US healthcare policies. That's, you know, the guy who promised complete transparency with regard to health in the United States. He's just turning off the comment period for all health policy changes because he's an evil coward. Yes, exactly. You got it. RFK Jr. doesn't want to do that 2025 flu shot. No, he does not. These people are setting up conditions where people are going to die en masse. It's really worrisome. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Super cool. I wish we could end on a better note for that segment, but yeah, it's just like, you know, sometimes you just gotta look at the devastation and go, damn, shit is really fucked. Someone should do something about it, you know? But here's the really kind of hard fact for us all to tackle. No one is coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. Been saying this for the last couple weeks, but it's true. We have to organize. We have to get together. We have to protest. And if your protest starts with something like today, where people are doing a 24-hour economic blackout, more power to you. But we need more than that too. We need people marching in the streets. We need people showing up to protest Tesla dealerships. We need people to show up protesting state capitals. We need to see people getting engaged with their local Dems or their local DSA. You know, we need to see people actually working together with their groups to make, you know, make yourself heard, make yourself known. Okay? Like that's what we kind of need. And I do think people are waking up to that, but you know, if you are interested in organizing, use !organize in my chat and you'll get a bunch of links to different actions you can take. For example, you can call your representatives, tell them how you feel about the current constitutional crisis we're in. You can do that via 5calls.org. You can join a local protest through Mobilize or Indivisible. You can organize a Tesla protest through Tesla Takedown. You can also get together some people to write postcards to get the vote out in the state Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. That's coming up on April 1st. So we have about 1 month to get people out to vote for that. So make sure if you're interested in writing postcards and getting people engaged that way, make sure you reach out to committodemocracy.com. There should be a link in all the chats for that. And yeah, do your calls, figure out a protest to go to, activate your friends and family. Those are what you got to do.